This map first impressions video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another map second impressions video. This is Riverview version 2.0. And while we did a video on the first version of Riverview about a month ago, I wanted to bring you this quick video that kind of highlights some of the changes to Riverview version 2. This map is mostly the same, but has enough differences that it kind of merits a second look. So let's read a little bit about the description where it describes the changes. This map can be found over at PCSG, and I will leave a link in the description. It says most buildings and sell points changed from older models. A bridge to the village on the island is changed for a new model. Many trees changed with many new ones added. Farmer mode starting conditions have been changed. You now get a lot of equipment as well as a whole farm full of animals and fields. Store reset and spawn points for vehicles is pulled away from the shed to give a little more room behind it. Viable plots updated to allow for buying many single fields, but also expands a little easier. Fixed some floating trees. Fixed grass missing in some locations. Fixed wood chip sell point. It says wood chip jump point, but I believe that means, oh, it's probably when you jump to the wood chip sell point. And the PDA has been updated. So let's go ahead and jump on in and take a look around here at the new version 2.0 of Riverview. Let's go ahead and pull up the log. Watch the map load in. And now we are loading in all of that starting equipment we get with the new farmer mode. We'll take a look at a couple different play modes with respect to how the farm is set up. Alright, now, anyone that has been here on the map before knows the shop area fairly well because this is where you spawn in when you start the map initially, and also where you spawn in when you come in here on multiplayer. Well, that has been changed out, so we now have a new shop here. Completely rearranged shop area. Got our sell and customize trigger over here at the second building, and then if you're a player that likes to use a shop icon, you can just go here and get to it from there. So we're going to go ahead and check out the PDA. We'll see how it looks. Overall, it looks the same as version 1. See how the lands have been broken up. So this used to be purchased as one whole section. I think this used to be purchased as one section. These used to be sections. So you can see they've been carved up a bit more. Still have this giant section over there. Yep, the forested areas are still fairly large, which is pretty cool. See, you start out with a whole lot more fields than you did in version 1. In fact, you start out with fields 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 8, 7, 11, 18, 16, 47, 44, and 45. And then all of the land up here and over here. This is where all of your starting buildings are going to be at. Map has five main sell points for your crops. See that the bakery and the brewery accept very limited sell points for your standard crops. You have several sell points for eggs and milk, sell point for wool and cotton. There is no BGA here on the map, so you're going to be selling your silage and your grass, hay, and straw down at the barn, which has also been relocated. Now, do note, this map on new farmer mode with the normal economic difficulty, look at these prices. So these are prices you would typically see more inclined on a hard mode than on a normal economic difficulty. You jump over here to hard difficulty, see how these prices are very much depressed compared to the normal economy, with the exception of milk and eggs. I mean, look here at wool, 163. That is something that we were challenged with when we did this map on the single player challenge. So that is something to be aware of. Money is hard to come by on the map. So it is definitely a grind. And if you're looking for a long grind to get into, this is probably a really good map to get into that. So now we've jumped over here to the main farm. Let's kind of explore the main farm area. And if we can remember what the main farm area looked like in version 1, we'll be able to kind of form a basis of how things are different. Overall, things are very, very different here on this starting farm area. Here's the entrance. Of course, here is still the sign giving this a nod back to when the map was called Newbie Farm back in all the various Farm Sim 15, Farm Sim 17, and I think the lineage goes back possibly even as far as Farm Sim 11 with respect to this map. As we come in, we've got a overhanging building there. Got the water trigger and a lime fill point. And then we've got several sheds. Take a look at our starting equipment. Taking a little peek at that. We start out with a fair number of tractors. Look at that. We start out with 6 tractors. We've got the John Deere 6250R, Massey Ferguson 7726, JCB Fast Track 4220, Magnum 145, Stara 180, the Dudesfar 9340 TTV. That range in horsepower from 335 to 175. So we've got quite the range of power there. We've got the Rattle Smash RSM 161 harvester, Roan Big M mower. We've got the Massey Ferguson telehandler. We got the Bandit 750 tipper. This header is excellent. This harvester and header is excellent for this map in trying to get around the tight, narrow lanes with the hedges that have collisions. This also is, as you can see in the picture, its own trailer. Got the Tiger 6 cultivator and the Kuhn DC 401 subsoiler that also gives the plow bonus. Vanderstand Rapid A 600S seeder, Lemkin planter. Got the Kuhn sprayer and the front spray tank. Bredal fertilizer spreader, the weeder, Pottinger tedder, Kuhn windrower, Bergman forage wagon. We've got the Kuhn square baler, a square bale trailer, the square or round bale wrapper. We've got the Silo King total mixed rations mixer. Got a straw blower, water tank. We've got the John Deere front loader arms. And with that, we've got a set of buckets, bale spikes. We've got the bale spike for the telehandler. Got a fuel bowser. And now we have the animal areas. We have a large cow pasture. We have the large sheep pasture, large chicken coop, grain silo, silage bunker, and a series of buildings. All of which we can sell off should we wish. So like I said, you start out with a whole heap load of stuff. Now let's take a look and see how this thing is laid out. So we've got a shed here, some of our tractors and our fuel bowser. Another overhanging building there. All the way in the back here, we've got our silage bunkers. Up here on the hill, we have our farmhouse. This is all on new farmer mode. Got a farmhouse up here. Of course, it has the sleep trigger in it. Very densely treed here. Even more buildings. Our silo has been moved back over here. And look at these cows. We start out with a heap load of animals. Let's go ahead and take a look and see the number of animals we start out. We start out with 80 cows. Can you believe it? Now, thankfully, the cows already have water, total mixed rations, hay, and grass in them, so we don't have to try to get them up and running and fully fed immediately. But we also start with some milk, slurry, no manure though, so you're gonna have to wait for that to happen. We start out with a whole lot of chickens. So we've got 70 chickens, 70, 80, 93 chickens, if I'm doing my calculations correct at the start. Thankfully, they also start out with some food. So we start out with some chickens and chicken eggs. Then we have lots of sheep. We've got what? 25, well, 75-ish sheep. I'm not going to sit here and do the math, but we've got 75-ish sheep, I think. And again, we don't have water for them, but they do have hay grass, so that is good to go. But man, anyone that's tried to feed 80 cows on Farm Sim 19 knows that that is surely a chore. We've already got a lot of animals to keep you busy from the very get-go. Plenty of equipment. I really like how this is all laid out. It's not just a big flat area where there aren't roads or pathways. We've got a whole bunch of trees here that you can, of course, clear out should you so wish. Here we have our chickens. Man, I'm glad we don't have to find chicken eggs anymore. Really hate to have to look through all of that grass to try to find the chicken eggs. And then up here we've got the sheeps. We're not done with equipment either. More of our equipment up here. And look, oh, that is so cool. We even have some, I've never seen that. We even have some bales in the baler. Speaking of that, we should check. Just see. Are we provided anything in the in anything else? Oh, that's empty. Let's head up here. You see some dots up here, so we have some bales. Look at all these bales up here. We have got a fair number of straw bales and hay bales up here, as well as grass or silage bales. This like that bale stack has spawned in a little cocky wonkus, but start out with some bales up here, so we are good to go to basically top off our animal areas probably right at the get-go. I come down here and check the fuel trailer and the water trailer. And then we should just check the prices screen again. We do have a full load of fuel. Don't seem to have any mixed rations in the mixer. And nothing in the water trailer. Check for our... You start with a fair bit of grain and everything in the silos. So guys, that is new farmer mode here on Riverview version 2. What we're going to do is I'm going to reset here. I am going to fire this up in farm manager mode, and we'll probably have to drive over here and see how it looks in that mode. And that's also how it'll look in start from scratch. So, be right back. So we just loaded up the map, and as you can see here, we go to the garage, we start with nothing. Go to the lands, we start with nothing. So we are on a virtual blank slate once again. We do have 1.25 million, but trust me, that's not going to go very far with respect to getting us going, since the prices of crops are so low, we are going to need to work our fingers to the bone. Now, this map does have very good contracts. All the fields that you don't own have contracts on them. Lots of baling contracts. If you're into that kind of thing. Let's go ahead and drive back up to the main farm and see what that area looks like as a blank slate. All of those trees, I'd say your placement of buildings is going to be somewhat limited till you clear out some area. Anyone that has watched all of our live streams on the multiplayer challenge on this map should be fairly familiar with how the map is laid out and the roads go. But all of these hedges do have collisions on them. There are trees all over the place. As you can probably pick up from version 1 to 2, some of these trees have been changed out for some newer versions of trees. More Farm Sim 19 trees as opposed to 17 are older trees. And here we go. So let's zoom out a bit. And you can see how the start farm is laid out. Basically, everything is missing. See back here, that's where the silage bunkers were. This is where our silo was. Some of our storage buildings were back here. And everything. Our animal area. Right here, I think that's where the cows were. This is definitely where the chickens were. So, let's start exploring the map from the standpoint of what's changed and what's not changed. First thing we're going to do is we're going to head down to the farm shop, and then we're going to make a way around the map in a counterclockwise direction, checking out basically the sell points. Those are the things that have mainly changed. The landscaping and everything is pretty much the same as it was before. The trees in the various areas have changed, but you know what? You've seen some trees, you've seen some trees. So I'll be making our way over here to the farm shop. The farm shop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in cab here to do that because of these overhanging trees. Getting to this particular sell point is quite difficult if you've got really big, really long equipment. We found it works best with one of the shorter trailers as opposed to a big, long semi-style trailer. And it definitely works to bring a truck into here, or a tractor into here, as opposed to a truck. Now, this bridge is changed significantly. Version 1, there was a wooden cover bridge that had basically 2 lanes in it, split down the middle. This is a much more open bridge, a lot easier to get around, and quite frankly, I kind of like this bridge a lot better than the other old style wood bridge. You can swing out here and get a good angle on turning. The other bridge, since it was so small, it was pretty difficult to get a good turning angle on it. And then the farm shop area itself here has been changed out a fair bit. Still have the old fuel station. That is about all that remains of the old way. The sell point used to be over here where the chicken coops and stuff was. They've now been moved over here to make it I think it's a bit easier to get into and make your sale. Here we have the farm shop sell point. Make your way around to get a better line on getting out of the area. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and jump in cab to get around through here, but you can see the narrow narrow roads to get through here. Don't be fooled. Do not take the right path. You will be sorely, sorely disappointed to find that that is a dead end. You're going to need to loop around this narrow lane again. And now again, having the changed out bridge is critical. It was so tight trying to get into the bridge when it was a little narrow wooden bridge that was split in half. You had two different lanes to deal with. Let's head on over to the next sell point, which I believe is the freight yard. Go ahead and jump back up and get a higher plane of view here and just kind of explore a little bit, look around. One thing that I really enjoyed when I played this map with the multiplayer challenge was the varying terrain. I mean, look at this. We're down here at this level, and we've got a field down here, and then we've got another field over here to our left that kind of started at the road level, but over here the ground has risen up to be fairly elevated above us. So it's definitely not a flat map, but the fields aren't, the fields don't have a whole lot of steep inclines to them, but they do have lots of varying terrain. Let's head on down here. Now, this particular sell point gave us a fair bit of trouble with the challenge because of the hill coming into it. It was fairly steep. And with these trees, you had a pretty sharp turn to get up into it. Fairly steep incline to get up in here into a heavily wooded area. This has been changed out a little bit. Been reworked some. Maybe it's based on when I was always in the server. I was always kind of darker, but it just seems a bit more light in here. Maybe the trees are a little less populated. I think Cavalier Roy did open up this area a little bit to make the turning easier. Yeah, I think a lot of these pine trees were swapped out for these other trees. And I have to say, I am not a tree person, so knowing which type of tree what is not my strong suit. It's not even my weak suit. It's a non-existent suit. It's either a pine tree or a tree. One of this map's primary defining characteristics is the wooded areas and the paths in and around the wooded areas. It is so easy to get lost if you're not careful and everything. So once you get in these wooded areas, I would really suggest, if you've got time, to just drive through those, explore them, go in a cab. If you're not an in-cab driver, go in cab and drive through these wooded areas. It really can draw you in and make you just feel the sense of being in a pretty thick and heavily wooded area. So here we've got the wool and cotton sell point. And here in the lower southwest corner of the map. There are, I don't know how many trees are on this map. I know we cut down a whole heap load of trees and still couldn't plant any trees. So if you're the kind of farmer that wants to plant trees for the purpose of harvesting them, you might be a little disappointed with yourself, because I don't think you're going to be able to, unless you cut down, like, I don't know, 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 trees. I don't think you're going to be able to plant any. If you can even plant them after you put down 5,000 trees, if you cut down that many. We're going to come over here to the brewery, and then we'll double back and hit up the animal dealer, and the barn location has been relocated to the animal area. Here we have the brewery, and remember, they took just a limited amount of crops. I think they only take wheat or barley. Let's do a little in-cab driving once again. Kind of like exploring the map from this perspective, because it gives you a nice sense of being in a world of its own, as opposed to always driving in third-person view or drone view, as some folks have affectionately started to refer to it as. Let's pull up the mini-map. I think some folks like to see the mini-map as we drive around to get a little frame of reference. We're coming into the animal area and the barn. There are two entrances. I passed one of them. We're going to have to double back. Kind of depending on which way you're coming in here, be how you want to come in. Now this area is changed a decent amount from the base version 1.0 of the map. Got our animal trigger here, and then down here we have the new barn, hay, straw, and grass sell point. This has been changed out drastically from how it was in version 1. In fact, in version 1, the barn was way over here by the mill sell point, and it was a concrete structure from Sofnoska, maybe from other parts of Farm Sim before then. But now the barn has been moved over here to the animal dealer. It is a lot easier to get into, and it might be possible with that big, well, yeah, you can definitely do this. When I saw that big square baler or square bale trailer, I thought, man, that's going to be difficult to unload in lots of these buildings because it's so tall. But bale trigger appears to extend outside the building, so you can come in here with that bale trailer and not have a worry about it colliding with the roof and going crazy. That road right there in front of us is one of the roads that leads up into one of the forested areas. We will drive through a bit of the forested area when we get over to the sawmill. Gonna head on down here to the bakery next. See what I'm talking about as far as the terrain goes? Now we're going up, and now we're going to be overlooking this grass field over here, 48. So here we've got the bakery. Again, we kind of have a loop to get in and out of the bakery. Bakery looks pretty much unchanged from version 1. Kind of a tight turn to get in here with that tree. It's almost as if some of these trees have been deliberately placed where they are, just to increase the level of difficulty a bit. So once again, we've got our elevation. Look, we're looking down over this field. That's the town that we drove around, and that field itself then looks down over the road on that far edge. And over here we've got another field, another two fields. I have to say, I very much have enjoyed my time here on the map. You know, as of toward the end of the challenge, it got a little bit monotonous and everything. But you know, that's just playing a month on just one map, pretty much day in and day out. It gets old. Start wanting to do other things, but it's no way reflecting the map itself. It is more of just wanting to get into other things. I really have enjoyed my time here on Riverview. I am never regretting selecting this for the challenge at all. You guys, let me know in the comments, what do you think so far of what you've seen in version 2 of Riverview. Here, let's go ahead and... let's double back to the main farm, and then let's make our way over to the sawmill through the woods. Okay? There's other ways to the sawmill, but let's double back. Let's actually go this way. Used to be a little way to cut through this field. Yep. Have to loop around. Oh. We're going to have to drive this way for a little bit just so that we can see better. Again, because of the whole trees lining the roads. If you're a third-person driver, you may get frustrated. And you may have to cave in and do a little first-person driving around some of these areas. There we've got the sawmill in front of us. We're going to make our way up there. And anyone that has been at the sawmill in version 1 will know that there's a lot that's changed up here. With respect to tree selection and I think landscaping even. Sawmill itself here looks fairly unchanged, but a lot of the landscaping around here. So we've got our log cell trigger. Those brown trees that were through here have been taken out and replaced with pine trees and some Farm Sim 19 trees. Our wood chip cell point here. Just like everything else on the map, forested area is nothing resembling flat. It has tons of elevations and, well, character as a result. We're going to try to not get lost, and we're going to try to cut through here to get down close to where the mill is. I've taken this before, so it's a fairly safe course to take. I don't think I'm going to get overly lost, but it does give you a little bit of a representation of these wooded paths. Occasionally we have dry creek beds crossing the roads. You can't come flying through here with a truck. Gonna probably crash pretty good. Occasional bridge. Let's look at that. Let's just look at this overlook out across the farmland. How could you not enjoy your time here? Seriously. Right, this way. And I think this road is going to start taking me down towards the road again. Oops. River. Pretty sure we are on the right path now. Indeed we are. We're coming down here and the mill is just to our left and around the corner. So here we are. The road that goes to the mill is just up here. And the mill is another difficult one to get up here. You don't have the horsepower, you might stall out. Right here was the bale cell point where all these trees are now. Kind of made for a tight area to get around here. So we've got our mill, sell point, and of course extensive forestry through there. Lots of forestry. All you did on this map was forestry. It would keep you busy for a very, very long time. And I believe the last point of interest here is going to be the port. And the port is what is probably one of the most drastic things changed here on the map. When I first looked at this map in version 1, I was kind of shocked at how low resolution the port was. The port just felt like a completely different world compared to the rest of the map. But here we are. We have a redesigned, completely reimagined port here. Entrance has been completely reworked. Got the sell point right here. So guys, let me know in the comments, what do you think of Riverview version 2.0? I think the changes that Cavalier Roy has done has been significant and very impactful. I think anyone that has used or has played on version 1 and would really enjoy moving their way over to version 2. If you have an active save game in version 1, I'm pretty darn confident that no, you're not going to be able to just drop this map in and start, where you left off. The changes are too significant. If you do that, you're going to need to start a new save game. Oops. Again, let me know what you think of the map, and until next time, happy farming.